Welcome, everybody, to the Town Board meeting of Tuesday, February 27, 2018. I'll blast through some of these announcements. We have the Chapaka Rotary Community Service Award dinner this Saturday at the Kittle House, starting at 6 p.m. The cost is $70. You can pay at the door. This year, they're honoring the SPCA and also Horace Greeley, a student, I don't have his name in front of me, unfortunately, who started a benefit for his aunt who has pancreatic cancer. So it's a great cause, and that's a Saturday. We have also this weekend the Chapaka Orchestra Benefit Recital, and that's also at Crabtree Kittle House. That's on Sunday, March 4th at 4:30 p.m., and you can buy your tickets online to that. Think Fit for Kids is also this weekend. That's on Sunday at Club Fit in Briarcliff, and that's a benefit the name of the organization, a Kids Brain Tumor Cure. And that is this Sunday at, I don't have the time, but it's in the afternoon at Club Fit. And then we have our movie and discussion regarding concussions, and that is Saturday, March 24th at the Chapaka Performing Arts Center, and that's being hosted and sponsored by Northern Westchester Hospital as well as our Recreation Department. We're going to show the movie Concussion, and then they're going to have some question and answers with a panel of doctors from Northern Westchester Hospital after, and hopefully all our youth athletic participants come and learn a little about concussions and how to treat them and watch an entertaining movie at the same time. So that's it. We start our conversation tonight about, onto my supervisor's report, we start our conversation tonight about gun violence. It's a conversation that we're going to be continuing over the next few months. It's an issue that's very important to all of us, and we will be identifying specific legislation both at the state level that we as a town board support, and we will also be looking at legislation at the local level that we can pass, all in the name of gun safety. And we already wrote letters to Senator Terrence Murphy expressing our support for certain bills that are pending in the state Senate, and to Assemblyman David Buchwald as well. And I know Lisa is planning to meet with Christine Ackerman, the superintendent of Chapaka Central School District. I know they're committed to protecting our students. They've already taken a number of steps, and we look forward to working with them and our police department to make sure that our kids are safe. One of our officers already participated in Nita Lowy's roundtable discussion about gun violence. Councilwoman Ivy Poole has suggested a number of legislation to look at that we can look at as a local community. Jeremy has recommended some gun storage legislation as well as other stuff that we can do. So together we're all going to work to make sure that our community is safe. Chapaka Downtown Revitalization, Kaz is here tonight. They're continuing to work on Lower King. I'm not really going to get into that. They're going to do some paving. I think we'll talk about that. Some of the patchwork that they're trying to do, the warmer weather will allow us to do that. We approved a change order tonight at our work session. That was due to the work interruption. That was at the end of 2017 and continued to the first 2 weeks of 2018 due to the fact that we couldn't get Con Ed back. So what I was going to say is that the section of the commuter parking lot was going to be closed behind Pizza Station next week, but that is not happening. That is being put off for another couple of weeks when we have a 3-ton vortex being delivered. So 30 ton. Oh, my bad.
330.
Wow, that's heavy. So 3 ton was heavy too. So
It's 10 times heavier.
yeah, very heavy, really very heavy. So that's not happening next week. So that's a new announcement. We already have signs up saying some parking is going to be closed off. Those signs are going to be removed. We just found out tonight. And we will be providing merchants and residents with notice when it is happening, probably about 2 or 3 weeks down the road. Composting, we're ready to move ahead with our composting project. And we'll be passing a resolution next week setting up the pilot program and approving some expenditures to get it off the ground. And happy to report as far as the old diner space that a lease has been signed for it. A trattoria is coming. I keep on wanting to say Italian trattoria, but I think that's sort of
Redundant.
implied. Redundant, right?
Redundant, yeah.
But
I saw them doing work there tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I want to mention this. I said this on Facebook. Nice. I said that was my fault. I put too many up there. So I want to mention this. I know some people are saying, oh, we have Italian restaurants already, we have a pizza place already. The fact is, we're fortunate to have a restaurant going in that space. It's a challenging space. There's no basement. A lot of restaurants. This space has been on the market for, I think, 2 years already. A lot of restaurants expressed interest. They looked at the space and decided against it. There's no space for a walk-in refrigerator in the basement. There's no basement. There's no space for storage. And it has to become ADA compliant, which is going to require a lot of work. So a lot of potential restaurants passed on this location. We're lucky to have somebody interested, somebody from the community who's interested in investing in our community and willing to spend the money to make this into a restaurant. And I think it's going to be great. And I think we're fortunate just to have the space leased. If you look at some of these neighboring towns, Mount Kisco, Scarsdale, Greenwich, tons of vacancies. And I think our town is doing pretty well with the little amount of vacancies that we have. We still have a ton of work to do to increase foot traffic, but I think as far as vacancies are concerned, I think we're doing okay on that front. So I also would like to mention that we had tonight a resident, Stuart Schaefer, whose wife had passed away a few years back, and she was an incredible artist. And so Stuart, Mr. Schaefer, came tonight to donate some works of art to the town to be publicly displayed. Some of them we have them on the desk right now. These will be displayed probably in the hallway, I would assume outside the assembly room. And we really appreciate these works of art. They're absolutely beautiful, and we're very fortunate. So tonight, added to our agenda will be a resolution to accept the donation. So that's the end of that. Rob, you don't have a report, do you? Oh, you do? Wow, look at this. So wait, hold on. Let me give you the introduction here. So we have our...
Deputy?
If anybody notices, that's not Jill Shapiro over there. That's our comptroller extraordinaire, Rob Deary, who's also tonight wearing a second hat, a deputy town administrator. And so now Rob is going to give us his administrator's report. So as I introduce Jill every time, Rob Deary.
Thanks. Actually, just one item of note, and it's regarding residents that made their prepayment for the 2018 taxes in 2017. So when the governor issued that order, it kind of took all of us by surprise, including our software company. So we actually didn't have the capability to log that into our system. So we took the payments and we tracked them manually. We now have the patch from the software company, and we have the ability now to upload those payments into our receiving software. So I think we hope to have that in the next week. Is that correct? And then we're actually going to issue receipts for that. So I know a lot of residents are waiting for that in order to file their taxes. So we hope to have that out in the next week.
Terrific. Thank you.
Great job. Great job.
That was excellent,
That was
really.
tremendous.
Might even say better than Joe. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so I get myself in trouble all the time. I don't know why. All right, so here we go. So now we have a construction update with the one and only John Kazowick here.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, where we are now. We were still doing the sanitary sewer line on Lower King. It's taking some time. It's very deep. And with the bypass secondary line, it just takes a lot of time. I spoke with ELQ yesterday, and it looks like by the end of next week, the week after next, we should be bringing in a second night crew to do lateral connections to all the businesses on Lower King, and have the main crew putting the new sewer line starting to go down South Greeley. Okay, they were planning on putting in the vortex next week, but they had a delay in deliveries of the two manholes it ties to. So it looks like now, they said it'd be about 2 more weeks out. Once we get the exact date they're gonna be delivered and we know that they're gonna be there, I will put it back on the website and put the burst out, showing everybody what's gonna be closed, and inform the merchants that it affects.
At work, should we be giving advance notice to any people residing nearby? Is it going to be loud?
No, at the laterals, no.
No.
We're just gonna hook them right up and then there's no,
And with regard to the sewer, as you move down Greeley, Am I correct in thinking you're going underneath the sidewalks there and that there was going to be an amount of jackhammering that was going to need to occur to get the 8 to 10 feet
Oh, yeah.
underneath? And so the work was going to happen during the day and not at night?
Well, no, the jackhammer, they're gonna try and do from like 7 to 9.
I see.
Usually, because they get here about 7:30 now.
Mm-hmm.
Once we get underneath there, we're gonna see how it works as we go down, because they might be doing some day work there, depending on where the laterals line up with the businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can direct people around the outside of them, we might have day crews there hooking the laterals in
Mm-hmm.
when we're on that side of the street, because then we will not be blocking traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Anything to expedite it. They have, they also, once they get this first load of storm water structures in and the pipe that deals with that vortex in the back and the tie into the culvert, they'll have a day crew coming in. So we'll have crews, 2 crews, it looks like at night, 1 crew during the day.
So,
When, go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry.
No, you still go.
I was just going to say to Jeremy's point, the second night crew, then we wouldn't expect a sort of doubling in terms of the nighttime noise as a result of this?
It's only because we want to give people advance notice.
Yeah,
It is what it is.
it'll be about the same. It'll be about the same, because the only complaints we've gotten is moving stuff out of this yard here. We've had it,
Well, but we don't want to be jackhammering at night.
Oh,
or-
no, the
I
jackhammer,
think they
they'll be
don't like
ripping that
when the
out.
trucks back up and it's
Yeah,
making
no,
a lot
the
of noise at
jackhammer-
night.
At night over there, they'll 7 to 9.
7 to 9.
Yeah,
Right,
that's really
good.
the beginning, and then once they start, they dig it out, and,
Right.
that's it. Then it's just a matter of all the other noise.
And are all the spots on Lower King going to be unavailable for the next 2 weeks?
Probably.
Should I pass them down?
Okay.
At least 1
Pass 'em
week,
down.
because I talked to him, and we were thinking about, I mean, you can parallel park there, along the curb and still get by. But you don't want to put a striping or anything on it, because if we put any kind of striping to show that, then in a week when we get it out, then you have to restripe it again to show it the other way. So it's one or the other. We're hoping to get it paved. Once, like I said, by the end of next week, we should have it tested. Once I have it tested, and we start at Lower King, we're gonna pave that whole intersection in front of Starbucks. The big problem we have is there's a line that comes down North Greeley that ties into our first manhole. We can't hook that to our first manhole until everything else is done on Lower King, because of that temporary bypass line that goes around and ties everything in.
Right.
So it's right in the way, so you can't do it, so you can't test the manhole until we can do it all at the one time. We have to get all the way down, because you can't cut off Lower King, the sewage that brings down. So once we get that tested and start doing it, then we're gonna start paving our way up Lower King and doing that. So we're hoping by the end of next week, we can start testing it. That first length only has 1 lateral in it, up to the alleyway. So at least we can get that going, tie in to over by Scattered Books. That's where the one is, that little alleyway there. Then we can pave everything, and then we can start opening it up, during the day, and have the parallel parking back,
Okay, great.
so.
Well, the only thing I was going to say was, when you do have day crews to do the laterals, even if it doesn't disrupt traffic, it still give us notice, because,
Yeah.
I don't want people to be surprised by seeing construction crews when we said work is at night, and all of a sudden I see people working during the day.
Yeah, we've been posting now, we put 2-week look-aheads. We have the last week, this week, because we're trying to do them Thursday now for the following 2 weeks. So when you look at it, they'll have almost 3 weeks worth of schedule on there, and it'll be on there when the day crew comes.
Okay, good.
And we post it on there with the closing of the parking lots and anything else. We put all that on there put out the blast. So,
When you blast the 2-week look ahead, is that the same day that it goes up on the website?
yep.
Okay.
Yep, we put it on the website and then send it to everybody the same day. So,
And it's going to all the merchants too.
yeah, to everybody that's
Great.
on that list.
Great.
There's, I think, 60 people on it, all the first responders, everybody that's on it.
Is the 2-week look ahead done already for the next 2 weeks?
Actually, just got we got one last Thursday, and he actually sent me another one today.
Maybe you can
'Cause he
send it to
added-
me. 'Cause I
Huh?
can- Maybe if you send it to me, I can blast it tomorrow.
Yeah, and we'll put it out, because he just sent it again. This is, I think, for the next 2 weeks out, because they added He actually added the parking lot on it. And then he changed it
Right, to
because he
take it
got the
off.
call. So I pulled everything else off. But I'll send it to you tomorrow again when we have the thing. I'll send it
Thank
back out again.
Have you recently experienced an increase in the number of sort of calls that you've been getting, either from merchants or residents?
No, we on Monday we got calls about the potholes, but we paved them last night. We did them
Yeah.
last night. The problem is you patch them with the cold patch, and the big problem is the snow. When it just snows and they come through with the plows, they hit it, it just comes, it rips it right out. So they came and they patched them all again. And now that it's starting to warm up, we're hoping, once we get the asphalt to do Lower King, then we'll really come in and fix everything with the hot stuff and make it best it can.
And what about when it comes up, the cold patch, and you have gravel all over the place?
Yeah.
Does the street sweeper take care of
He
that?
came through the one time, we had him last week, the beginning of last week, and they were all parked, a lot of people were parked on South Greeley in front of by where my business was, so they went around it, and there was a lot of stone there. Now that it's ripped up again, so I spoke with ELQ, the next time they come, they actually purchased a street sweeper. So we're trying to get it out here, so that we have one here.
That'd be
At
great.
least, once or twice a week, they can bring it out and do it, and then we can do it in the middle of the night when there's nobody here. So, or get them first thing in the morning at 6 o'clock. The problem we have is trying to get them here at night like we were before. They were paving on the highways, so they had these street sweepers out and about at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. So to get somebody to come over at 3 o'clock in the morning wasn't a problem. But nobody's paving anywhere now, so to get them, they want you to pay for 4 hours for a guy to come out in the middle of the night to do it, which is a fortune.
Right,
So that's where that problem comes in. That's why they're showing up in the day.
right. Well, that's
So-
fine. I mean, it's, as long as it gets done, but, it's a problem because, you're doing the patchwork, then that doesn't hold, and so now you got a pothole, and then you have gravel everywhere. So
Yeah.
it's- you got, it makes the,
Yeah, we had them sweep off the sidewalks because they plowed the snow, and that pushed all the gravel on the sidewalks. And a lot of people did it, but we still had them go out where they didn't do it, just to sweep off the sidewalks.
right.
To at least get it in the street, kind of thing, so. But we're getting there.
Any update on the polls? Moving
On the-
polls? Moving the polls.
We have a meeting tomorrow. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock, we're meeting with them to find out what that story is going to be. I understand that they were sending another cruise back out to Puerto Rico. I spoke with the guy that came, the pole guy that came to hold the line by the alleyway on Lower King because it's bent. So I spoke with him, and he was going out, and he was telling me that that crew's coming back that's there. They've been there 2 months now, and another crew's going back out there. And then at that time, we found out that they're going to replace that pole also on Lower King. So there's another pole, so that's 17 poles now that they're going to replace. So we're hoping tomorrow we have a date when they're going to come. And then that'll be fun. Because by then, we'll have all our crews there too, so it'll get very busy very quick.
Yeah, well, that's what we said. It's gonna get worse before it gets better.
Oh, yeah. There'll be a lot of people out there. But it'll be quick.
Relatively speaking.
Let's hope.
We're gonna look better, you know what I mean? At least we'll start getting curbs and sidewalks in, so people will see what's coming, at least down here on this end, to see what's going on, so.
Yeah, no, the fact is, it's, the infrastructure stuff is obviously necessary, but, it doesn't excite anybody.
No, yeah, you don't see it.
Right,
All you see is the steel plates and the holes in the road.
Right.
That's pretty much it.
all
so.
negative, but it's necessary, and it's, once we start doing some streetscape stuff, I think
Yeah.
people will, see what's coming. It'd be nicer.
So, yeah. And the surveyors are out. That approved change order for the survey. They've been out for the last, they came Friday, they were here, and they were here today, again today, shooting on King Street for all the ADA stuff. So they've been here, so. At least get
They
back
raised
to-
any concerns based on their work so far?
There's a lot of concerns out there. There's just a lot of things that are, it's very hard with the ADA.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of different, some of the businesses, like I said, have 3 steps going into them. And
Right.
when you have to pitch it certain ways and 2%, and you can't change the steps, they all have to be the same rise. You can't change them. So, unless you replace all the stairs. So it gets hard. But they should have it done, he said, probably by Thursday with all the shooting. All the shots will be done, then they can superimpose it on the AutoCAD that we have, and they'll point out all the areas that we have the problem. And then we'll take it from there, start that next.
Okay.
But why do the steps make a difference as far as, I mean, the merchants don't have to become ADA compliant, right? I mean,
No, what happens is once you start putting the 2% pitch on it, the existing steps, if there's 7-inch risers, all the steps have to be 7-inch risers. You can't make the first one like 5 and then the rest of them are 7, because they're all 7 now.
Right.
So if you do it like that, and you've got to take, say, 2 inches, then you have to either go all the way up to 7 inches to meet the one that's the first step,
Right.
or take all the steps down and make them all 6.5 inches or whatever, or 7.25, whatever it is, so that they're all the same. So that when you walk down them, the last one isn't a short step where you do it and you
Right.
fall like that.
but who would pay for that if you have to, if the merchants, if the steps are
That's-
6, 7, and 7?
It gets hard because most of them are private property.
Right.
And I don't think on a lot of them, they have the agreement because it's private property, and we weren't going on it. So, when we find that out, that'll be our next conversation. I'm hoping to eliminate all that,
Right.
so,
But that'd be the best solution.
yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Thank
No,
you.
it's fine, going back to work. I'll see you
Next
later.
next time, come in the
Thank
conference
you.
room. We can do this
Yeah,
in the
we can do
conference
it.
room in the middle of the work session.
That's all right.
It's all, it's taped as well, so,
Yeah, all right.
okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, so any public comments, new business? No, you went to, Martin, you gestured there for a second. Christine used to always have public comments. That's true. Okay, now we move on to our resolutions.
Resolutions, if I can note number 3 and number 9, you deleted from the packet that I gave you.
No.
Okay, I move to authorize a 3-year extension of the current IT service contract and support agreement with Sullivan Data Management of Yorktown Heights, New York, for the sum of $96,720 per year. The term of this extension will run from April 1st, 2018 through March 31st, 2021. All other aspects and the components of the current agreement will remain the same and carry forward. And for my colleagues, I was just given an updated number versus what's in the packet, so the number is $96,720.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I move to approve the allocation of contingency funds and interfund transfers between the general and highway funds as per the attached memo.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. I move to adopt the following resolution. Whereas the town board adopted a resolution January 23rd of this year requesting the state legislature to introduce legislation permitting the town of Newcastle to lease space on sports fields in Gedney, Millwood Park and Recreation Field. Whereas the town intends to administer such leasing activity through and with the assistance of a not-for-profit corporation. Whereas,
You can just read the resolved paragraph if you like.
oh, I can jump to that, perfect. Where the resolve that, that the town board hereby respectfully requests the New York State Legislature to adopt a home rule request authorizing the town of Newcastle to lease space on the sports field fences at Gedney Park, Millwood Park, and Recreation Field, and with the revenues therefrom to be used solely for the care of such parks and field. Thanks for the exclamation point at the end there. Be it further resolved that the enabling legislation be in the form and content as shown in the attached bill, and that the town attorney is hereby authorized and directed to forward the appropriate number of copies of this resolution and home rule request form with appropriate transmittal letters to each house in the New York State Legislature.
I will so do.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye. I move to establish capital project H.7989.0400.8081.2018 and budget of $87,747.92 for the purchase of a Zenith Electric, didn't we do this already? 16-passenger shuttle van for use initially by the Newcastle Recreation Department for senior rec, senior social service programs, but eventually, upon agreement with Summit Greenfield, to be used for shuttle service between Chappaqua Crossing and the downtown hamlet and Chappaqua train station, though not solely for that purpose. And this project purchase will be funded with a portion of grant proceeds awarded to the town through NYSERDA's Clean Energy Communities Program for investing in projects, purchase and use of this electric vehicle rather than use of existing gasoline diesel fueled vehicles that will result in the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I move to establish capital project H.5110.0400.8083.2018 with a total project budget of $125,000 for the purchase of a tractor with mounted attachments features for mowing to be used for ditch and/or roadside maintenance by the Newcastle Department of Public Works. This purchase will be funded with serial bond proceeds received from our current bond issuance and the debt incurred from this borrowing to be repaid by the Highway D Fund.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I move to establish capital project H.1680.0400.8084.2018 with a total project budget of $788,350 for various IT hardware and software upgrades, purchases, etc. over the next 5 years based on replacement schedules maintained by Sullivan Data, the town's IT support contractor, as well as departmental requests and special projects presented and discussed at monthly meetings of the IT committee. This purchase will be funded with serial bond proceeds received from our current bond issuance and the debt incurred from this borrowing to be repaid as follows: General A Fund, 75%, Highway D Fund, 5%, Consolidated Water SW District, 15%, and Refuse R District, 5%.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I move to establish the capital project H.5132.0400.8082.2018 with the total project budget of $500,000 for the fuel tank replacement project at our Newcastle Department of Public Works facility located on Hunts Lane. As deemed imminent and necessary for the New York State DEC compliance, this project includes the design and construction of a new above-ground fuel storage tank and the purchase of 3 new fuel storage tanks, fuel pumps, dispensing system. Once the new tank is complete and functional, the removal disposal process of the 3 existing underground fuel storage tanks purchased and installed 30-plus years ago will begin prior to cleaning, refilling, restoration of the site area. This purchase will be funded with serial bond proceeds received from our current bond issuance and the debt incurred from borrowing to be repaid by the Highway D Fund.
Second.
Aye.
I got it, easy. I move to authorize the annual employment cost index, ECI, of 2.6% increase for the 2018 contract operations at the Millwood Treatment Plant. The monthly compensation will increase at the Millwood Water Treatment Plant. The monthly compensation will increase from $74,083.85 to $76,010.03 for the Millwood Water Treatment Plant and $1,835.87 to $1,883.60 for the Hudson Hills Sewer Pumping Station.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I move to accept the Chappaqua Infrastructure Streetscape Change Order Number 2 with ELQ Industries in the amount of $30,000. This approval is subject to council's approval to form and substance.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I move to authorize the town supervisor to sign the professional services agreement between the town of Newcastle and Beckman Appraisals, right-of-way acquisition services related to the Millwood Sidewalk Improvement Project.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I move to adopt the following resolution authorizing the purchase of a Mark 2017 Police Utility Interceptor vehicle, whereas the chief of the town of Newcastle Police Department has requested such a vehicle, and it was already approved and included in the 2018 police budget line. Now therefore it be resolved that the town board of the town of Newcastle hereby authorize and approve the purchase of one fully equipped marked 2017 Police Utility Interceptor vehicle for the purchase price of $41,373.12, and be further resolved that the police chief is hereby authorized and directed to execute all pertinent documents and directed to take any and all steps necessary to effectuate the purpose of this resolution.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's me. It's an authorization to approve Brandywine subdivision Lot 2 roadway maintenance bond. Whereas Deer Creek LLC submitted an application for approval of a site development plan amendment affecting real property located at Cynthia Court and designated on the tax map of the town of Newcastle as 82.10-1-1.2. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Newcastle hereby authorizes the acceptance of a surety bond relating to that property in the amount of $165,000 and bearing bond number S.316009. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You stumped me.
I move to award the 2018 grass cutting bid to the lowest responsible bidder, Acosella Contracting Incorporated Services of 68 Gaylor Road in Scarsdale in the amount of $57,300.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I move to approve payment of claims in the amount of $464,394.69. 2017 expenditures totaling $417,761.81, and 2018 expenditures totaling $46,632.88, listed on the summary pre-check writing report and detailed voucher detailed reports, all dated February 23rd, 2018. Checks will be issued and mailed to each claimant on Wednesday, February 28th, 2018.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I realize how difficult it is sometimes to read off all these numbers. It's
I'm
harder
not
than
a
it
night
looks.
person.
We just had up numbers, we don't need more.
I move to reappoint Jean Kuhn to the Beautification Advisory Board for a 3-year term retroactively effective March 22nd, 2017 through March 21st, 2020.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I move to accept the resignation of Kenneth Schoenberg from the Ethics Board effective immediately. We thank Mr. Schoenberg for his dedication to the town of Newcastle.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Wait, I have one more.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh,
The order.
sorry. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Newcastle hereby accepts the donation from Newcastle resident Stuart Schaefer of 6 artworks of local buildings in Newcastle painted by his wife, Dr. Valerie Morris, to be displayed at the town's discretion in public places.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I move to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.